Good morning to you from Iowa. It is a glorious, cool morning here this morning. I've got all the windows open and it just feels so good. Just a great way to start the week. And we're going to paint today. We're going to paint these whimsical, fun houses that are simple. I think you're going to have fun with it. I've got a couple ideas for you. One, you could just do what I'm doing, which is filling a sketchbook page. Another idea I had was for a greeting card. A few different ideas along that line. You could send it to an old friend who lives far away and just say, I wish we were neighbors. You could write that on the front or just on the inside. You could walk on over to a new neighbor's house, someone who just moved into your neighborhood, and say, welcome to the neighborhood. You could give it to an old neighbor who's been there for years and just say, I'm so glad we're neighbors. Something to brighten someone's day. I just think it would be so sweet. So I hope you will join me painting today. Like I said, it's Monday morning here. I have to work in about 10 minutes and then I have other responsibilities when I have breaks. So I don't know when I can post this. Hopefully this afternoon, maybe this evening. We'll see how the day goes. Let's get started. I am going to start off with sketching. Okay, you can go right in with paint if you want, but I'm starting in with just a couple little hills. You can see just 2 lines. And if you are going straight in with paint, you can just skip over this part. I am going to speed it up here in a little bit, but you can see it's very simple. Just a couple vertical lines, kind of a wonky lines, and same with the triangular shape of the roof, wonky. And we're doing the same over here. I'm going to speed it up here just because it's all self-explanatory. And on this other house here, I did erase it a little bit. I am just adding a little building attached to that house. And then you can see wonky windows, nothing, wonky doors, nothing is symmetrical really. It's just having fun and being carefree with it. I am just filling in the windows now with water. And I'm doing that because I want my paint to just kind of flow nicely and be nice and diluted. This is Payne's Gray that I'm putting in the windows. Now, the second window, I got a little dark, but that's okay. He's going to gladly give some of his color to the other windows here in a little bit. I'm not adding any more color to this brush from my palette anyway, and just filling in all of those windows. Going back to that guy to grab some color to add to our other windows. He doesn't mind one bit. And it's okay. They don't have to all be the same shade or anything like that. They don't even have to all be the same color. These are whimsical, fun houses, and I want you to just have fun with them. And I'm just kind of crisping up the edges of the windows over here a little bit. Obviously not being precise whatsoever. Now I'm filling in these 2 doors on the right house with some water and coming in with a diluted yellow ochre for this door here. And I got a little bit too much water, so I tapped my brush on the paper towel, and then I'm kind of soaking up and moving around that color in that door. And then for this kind of rounded door, the arched door, I am also using yellow ochre, but with more paint, less water. So it's going to be more saturated, and I just love it. I love yellow ochre. And filling in this door with water also. And this one, I am just adding Winsor blue, very diluted, in that door for now. We're going to make that guy brighter as well in a little bit. And here we are with some permanent rose on my brush, diluted. And you guys, there are so many layers, and all I'm doing is coloring in our shapes. And so again, I will be speeding you through a lot of this video because you don't need to watch me like color, you know what I mean? All right, I did add some Winsor blue to our permanent rose to achieve this purple. And I slowed it down here just to show you. I'm not putting it everywhere. I'm kind of just like putting it mostly on the left side, under the windows. I will move it over on the right side as well, but I'm just playing. You know, you can just have solid colors on your houses, whatever you would like. It's just fun to play. One of the beauties of watercolors, well, there's so many, but just playing, and when you add more water or more color and less water, and then when you let the colors blend together, wet on wet, and then you try wet on dry and see how it all works. It's just fun to experiment. And you can do that with just drawing some shapes on your paper. Just draw some circles and triangles and squares and just have fun experimenting with playing with the colors and the water ratios. And like I told you I was going to do, moving some of that purple over here, wet on wet, and just moving it around a little bit. Adding some more up here, just kind of having in my mind some shadows, but definitely not being accurate about it. I'm just, again, it's experimenting. I do a lot of experimenting. Yes, even when I'm just doing a YouTube video, you would think I would experiment before, and sometimes I do. But I'm also trying to get better at just playing in my sketchbook and not being so afraid of it. And over here, I am using aqua green for this house. I'm going to speed you up because, again, it's like I'm in a coloring book right now. I've already drawn our houses. I did get a little blue in the yellow. Not a big deal. I just blotted it out with my finger. But yeah, loving this color. And then I'm going to clean my brush off and do another layer over here with my permanent rose. So you can see layer upon layer upon layer. I am letting each of these layers dry completely before adding another one. I did wet on wet to begin with, but now we're doing wet on dry because I want the colors to be more saturated each time. I'm adding the color to this little addition on the second house, and I do want it to be a different color than the main portion of the house. So after that addition dried, I added another layer to the main portion. And now for the door on that first house, I used aqua green and I used some really saturated yellow ochre for the arched door, and then just added another layer of the diluted yellow ochre to that other door. I am using black for that first roof. I know people frown upon using black watercolor paint, but I smile upon it. Okay, this second roof, I am using a very diluted burnt sienna. I didn't let the house dry first, so it started bleeding. So I just dried my brush off and just kind of mopped up some of that water. And now just adding more of the burnt sienna. So it's a nice contrast after I let the house dry. All right, back to house number one. Guess what? We're doing another layer. I just kept wanting it to be brighter and brighter. And, watercolors dry lighter. We just know that, don't we? And this one, I am actually slowing it down a little bit just because I'm not filling every little spot in. You can see I'm, again, sort of kind of thinking about shadows and shading and stuff like that, but also just having fun, trying not to overthink it. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Considering how I was when I started my first sketchbook not too long ago, however many months ago, I have come a long way with letting go. Okay, just adding more color and enjoying the different shades of the pink in there. And you can still see the purple that we added on our first or second layer underneath some of that as well, which I love. So just again, have fun layering and shading and adding different colors. And you can add even wonkier colors. I'm kind of being pretty safe with my colors, although these are whimsical and all that. But okay, just removing my clip because I'm going to do the grassy area now, the hills, and putting in like a diluted green. I was just going to do water, but I want you to try to be able to see it. So just putting in a very diluted green, and I'm going to speed you up through this part as I'm just filling in those little hills there. And then while that is still wet, I'm going to just bring in more of our green, and I'm tapping it in here and there again, thinking about shading a little bit. And I do want each hill to be kind of separate from one another, or at least you can differentiate that there are two hills. But I don't want the whole thing to be a solid green. So I'm imagining it's going to be a little darker right in front of the houses. And so putting some green up there and also just kind of here and there, like I said, tapping it in. Whatever makes sense for you. It would be fun to add some blue to this as well. I know that sounds weird, but it can look really pretty. You can see I'm putting a darker green kind of behind that first hill is what I'm trying to make it look like, so that you can see there are two hills here. Again, I think this would be a darling little card to send to somebody. I can think of some friends that have moved away that I wish we were neighbors. Hey, even friends that live in town here that I wish we were neighbors. I don't have the opportunity to get out much these days, and so it's nice to imagine a friend coming over with her coffee and just chatting while I'm on a break or something. Okay, do you see just the variation of colors? It's not fancy whatsoever. I'm just really putting the paint here and there and kind of keeping it lighter on the top of the hill portion. Just thinking that's where the light might be touching it. Again, not overthinking, but trying to think about it a little bit. I really love it. I think it's looking so cute. And now that that is all dry, I'm coming in with a size 8 micron. This is where Oh, it just all comes together and I love it so much. I'm going to speed you through this again because I'm just outlining. You can slow the video down, you can pause it if you're doing this with me, but I just think it could be very time consuming and quite boring for you to watch me outline every little bit of these houses and the elements in each house. I've had many of you say that you appreciate that, so I am happy to do it. And yeah, just remember you can slow down and pause. I have slowed it down right here just to show you. I'm adding just little scribbly lines for grass, and I'm going to speed you through this in a little bit, but I just wanted to slow it down to show you what I'm doing. This is normal speed, and I'm just blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of random scribbly lines for the grass. And now I am bringing in my white gel pen, size 10 Jelly Roll, and I'm just going to do a few little accents. I'm doing a white doorknob on that blue door because it's pretty dark and you can't see the black with it. And then on my little roof, let me zoom in for you. I am going to just do these little lines to add interest and texture to our roof. This is such a fun little painting, and I hope you can see by watching me, you can do this with your kids, you can do this with your grandkids. I mean, look, nothing is accurate. Nothing has to be proportional. Nothing has to be symmetrical. It is just fun. Do squiggly lines, do polka dots on your roof or on your house. Just have fun with it. You know, that is one of the things, many, many things that I love about doing whimsical art is that it takes the pressure off. I'm not trying to make this look like anything, you know what I mean? And so over on the burnt sienna roof, I am just doing vertical lines. And again, some of them are a little squigglier than others. They're not straight. They're not in a row. I mean, they are in a row, but you know what I mean. Just have fun with it. All right, then I decided to add a little more whimsy with a bright pink tree over on this side. And this might be too much for some of you, and that's okay. If you want to add a tree, but you're like, a pink tree makes no sense, by all means, make it green or whatever color you would like. Just making my circle a little bit bigger here. It's going to just add some real whimsy. I let that dry completely before I'm adding my pen. I do have a brush pen this time. It's just got a larger nib and it's very flexible. It's really good if you're doing like hand lettering, but it also just fills in things a lot more quickly, like this tree trunk, for instance. And it's just a nice pen. I really like it. It does come in the set that I got all of my pens from on Amazon. You can see the nib there. And then I'm just going to kind of do some random squiggly branches, keeping them all in the circle. You don't have to. You can go outside of the circle, whatever is fun for you. I really hope you enjoyed this and that you do try it. And I hope if you send this to somebody or give it to somebody as a card or a gift, I would have loved to hear about it because I just love when people do nice things. I love hearing from you no matter what. Love your comments, your emails. I appreciate your support, and I hope to see you in the next video.